Welcome to That's Good Sports, home of solving the most complex problems on earth. I am your host, Brandon. God, I miss Antonio Brown news, Perna. And I am back, ready to talk about football, not COVID, not racial issues.
I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America or our country.
Fuck.
I don't see racism at all in the NFL.
Fuck.
I don't see discrimination in the NFL.
Fuck. And now this video has been demonetized. I can't even trust capitalism these days. I will discuss what Broncos head coach Vic Fangio said that got him trending on Twitter for all of the wrong reasons, only to be topped by Drew Brees. Plus, Timmy Jernigan couldn't get a deal done with the Texans and now is a free agent again. And I do have a truly unifying tweet to share today. Something that'll give us hope. Something that may bring even more fans together for the first time in decades. Also, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, and Emmanuel Sanders apparently unfollowed Drew Brees on social media. And Ross, known guitar enthusiast, unsubscribed to me here on YouTube. Why do I keep losing guitar enthusiasts? I love music. And enthusiasm for it. That's good, sports. If you don't want to be a real Ross, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Today's episode is sponsored by manscaped.com/goodsports with an exciting announcement that they have launched the brand new Weed Whacker nose hair trimmer. Manscaped has reinvented the nose and ear hair trimmer, utilizing their proprietary skin-safe technology to reduce nicks, snags, and tugs with their 360-degree rotary dual blade system to whack off your nose hairs. This is a great Father's Day gift because it's a lot easier to tell your dad his nose hairs are getting too long as opposed to telling him his pubes are too long. The Weed Whacker is designed to fit the natural ergonomics of your nose holes. Ergonomics and nose holes, words that will definitely impress your dad this year. Check out the new Performance Package, which gets you the Weed Whacker and Lawnmower 3.0, plus a free pair of boxer briefs, a Manscaped travel bag, the Pube Mat, ball toner and ball deodorant, and if you select the Peak Hygiene Plan, you can get a replacement blade every 3 months for just $14.99 now for both the Lawnmower 3.0 and the Weed Whacker. Again, discount link manscaped.com/goodsports. We'll start with the good. Dak Prescott will donate $1 million to improve police training and address systemic racism through advocacy and education in our country. Dak had 4 pages on his Instagram account of this info conveying his thoughts, and I suggest you take the time to read all of them. I commend Dak for using his money to try and improve police training. That seems like an area where real change can happen, and I personally now think Dak Prescott deserves a fully guaranteed $175 million contract. I think he will do a lot of good with that money, so he should have it all. Now, in the spirit of unity, I will fuck with this. At Charger Union posted, say what you want, AFC West has the best running back core of all time, and it isn't a debate. LaDainian Tomlinson, Marcus Allen, Terrell Davis, and Jamal Charles? Luckily, Marcus Allen played for the Chiefs as well. And I think if we can get AFC West fans to come together, we can get this country to come together. Because my entire life, I have known one truth. AFC West fans fucking hate each other. That said, I don't fully agree with that tweet. Personally, I thought Priest Holmes was a better running back than Jamal Charles. Holmes spent 4 years with the Ravens, but his 3-year stretch between 01 and 03 was close to Terrell Davis levels of production. 1,500, 1,600, and 1,400 yard seasons. 2 of those seasons, Holmes had 21 rushing TDs and 27 rushing TDs. Hell, before he got hurt in 04, he was averaging 111 yards per game, second highest of his career. No offense to Jamal Charles, he was great, and I will always love him for fumbling away the football in that 2015 game to give the Broncos one of the most miraculous comeback wins of that season. But Priest Holmes used to scare me more than an actual priest, which should tell you something because I was a teenage boy when I watched Holmes play. This made me think of other divisions and their best running backs ever. The AFC North had Jim Brown, Jerome Bettis, Franco Harris, and hell, even the Ravens in their short history had Jamal Lewis going for 2,000 yards in a season, and the Bengals maybe had one of the all-time great underrated backs in Corey Dillon. I might have to do a video about the best running back every team has had. That would be a good video. Suck it, 5 points. Have you thought of that one? Timmy Jernigan couldn't get a deal done with Bill O'Brien and the Texans. And as we are forced to reckon with the worst parts of ourselves, as the world appears to be in real trouble, at least we can count on the consistency of Bill O'Brien to botch another player transaction. It's the sort of consistency that helps me sleep at night. So thank you, Bill. Your ineptitude gives me deep inner peace. And for that, today, I am grateful. Now, I did not want to talk about Vic Fangio because I didn't want to throw my own guy under the bus. If I didn't address Fangio's comments, though, that would make me a coward and a hypocrite, wouldn't it? I didn't think my own moral compass would be tested just 2 days after I posted a video talking about my own moral compass. But here I am, battling my instincts to defend my team, the Denver Broncos, because Vic Fangio said the wrong thing. That's what we do as fans, though, right? We excuse behavior when we don't agree with it if we think condemning it will in some way hurt the team we root for. That's our job as fans. It's why Chiefs fans justify rooting for Tyreek Hill. It's why Ravens fans justify rooting for Ray Lewis. It's why Bears fans may still support Brian Urlacher even though his hair transplant clearly fucked up his brain more than any NFL-related head trauma. It's why many Patriots fans are funding the Aaron Hernandez Resurrection Fund, which supports advancements in science to bring him back to life, as well as fans supporting the Robert Kraft Prostate Stimulation Awareness Campaign. Please send checks directly to Orchids of Asia Day Spa. God, those are the stories I miss talking about. Look, I think Vic Fangio is going to be a very good head coach for the Denver Broncos. So I immediately wanted to give him more leeway than I would have, say, John Gruden if he said the same thing. That is me trying to recognize my own bias so you out there know how woke I am. Change is uncomfortable though, and puberty should remind you of that. As uncomfortable as change is, it is necessary to move forward, and I believe once we get through the rest of 2020, we will be better for enduring this shitstorm of a year. Now here's the truth about Vic Fangio's statements. If you listened to Vic's entire interview, you'd realize he mostly conveyed messages everyone can agree with and support. It started though with a pre-written statement, because if you say nothing, you're fucked. And if you say the wrong thing, you're fucked. So maybe we just don't need everybody to say something. But he spoke.
I was shocked, sad, and angry when I saw the policeman due to a handcuffed George Floyd on his stomach that led to his death. He should be punished to the fullest extent of the law for the crimes he has been charged with, in addition to being charged with treason for failing to uphold the badge and the uniform he was entrusted with.
Denounced the actions of the police who murdered George Floyd. Check.
I've listened to many people talk the past few days, and the one that resonated with me the most was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Said Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's comments resonated with him. Check.
This is not a political issue. We have had similar situations in St. Louis in 2014, Baltimore in 2015, and others recently and prior to those. It's a societal issue that we all have to join in to correct. Good deeds and doing the right things by all in society will far outweigh people pontificating with their words or any amount of money can solve. Sports brings people together, and I look forward to the Broncos and the NFL leading that charge.
And showed his old age by reading his pre-written statement with half of his face out of frame. Check.
I don't see racism at all in the NFL. I don't see discrimination in the NFL. You know, we live in a great atmosphere. Like I alluded to earlier, we're lucky. We all live together, joined as one for one common goal, and we all intermingle and mix tremendously. You know, if society reflected an NFL team, we'd all be great.
I think criticism, though, is fair of Fangio's comments, and I think Tony Dungy was the most on point in evaluating his comments.
You listen to that statement, there's a lot of truth in it. Vic talked about it being a meritocracy, and it is, and in the locker room and on the field, and I think we had 29 African-Americans drafted in the first round out of 32 players. So, yes, there is progress there, and yes, there is working together, and a football locker room can be one of the greatest places in the world where you see people coming together from all different types of backgrounds chasing a common goal. So that is true. But to say there is no racism and no problem, I think really is not recognizing the situation.
On the field and in the locker room, the NFL is a diverse place. I mean, Richard Sherman and Nick Bosa play on the same defense without issue. Also, Richard Sherman criticized Drew Brees on Twitter just today, along with Saints receivers Emmanuel Sanders and Michael Thomas. But my question is there a way to help a guy like Vic Fangio understand why what he said was wrong instead of doing everything we can to shame and disgrace him immediately? Can we give him a day or two to let that information set in and then see what he says? Oh, we had to wait less than a day as he's already issued a written apology and statement stating, "After reflecting on my comments yesterday and listening to the players this morning, I realized that what I said regarding racism and discrimination in the NFL was wrong. While I have never personally experienced those terrible things firsthand during my 33 years in the NFL, I understand that many players, coaches, and staff have different perspectives. I should have been more clear, and I am sorry. I wanted to make the point yesterday that there is no color within the locker rooms I have been in or on the playing fields I have coached on. Unfortunately, we don't live or work only within those confines. Outside of those lines, both in the NFL and society, there's a lot of work to be done in the areas of diversity and providing opportunities across the board for minorities. As the head coach, I look forward to listening to the players, both individually and collectively, to support them and work hand in hand to create meaningful change." If we truly want to be better, though, I think we have to give people who haven't messed up or said anything wrong in the past a chance to show they too can learn from their mistakes or ignorance or however you want to verbalize it before we entirely shit all over them. And I think you can either choose to focus on him saying the wrong thing or focus on him correcting what he said and see how he proceeds moving forward and see if he follows through with listening and talking to players and see what players have to say about him. But here's my hope. My hope is that Fangio takes the time to continue to listen and learn more about this from more guys who go out onto the field and give him everything they have in the name of winning. Chris Harris's tweet in regard to Vic Fangio made the most sense to me. And all Chris Harris said was, "Huh? I'm confused. LOL. Me too. I am fucking confused every day." Chris responded to a fan in that thread who said Fangio's comments were surprising, which would lead you to believe that Chris Harris respected Vic Fangio. We can give people the opportunity to realize their mistake and then correct it before we cancel them forever. Now maybe the worst take I've seen regarding this situation is that the Denver Broncos unjustly fired Vance Joseph. Look, there is a serious lack of opportunity for black coaches in the NFL, but you're going to have to find another example that's not Vance Joseph. It's like using O.J. Simpson's 33-year prison sentence for stealing memorabilia as an example for why black people are punished more harshly than whites in our justice system. It's the wrong example. Vance Joseph lasted 2 years, which is probably a year later than he should have. He went 11-21 over 2 seasons, all with still one of the best defenses in the NFL. We can talk about underrepresentation among head coaches, but I would leave Vance Joseph out of that argument because he probably ends up making the opposite point. Same goes for Hugh Jackson, who somehow kept his job after 2 seasons with a combined 1-31 record in Cleveland. 1-31. That still boggles my mind. Who had the bigger misstep today, Vic Fangio or Drew Brees? Personally, I would say Drew Brees because he isn't a Denver Bronco. Here's Drew Brees on Yahoo acting like a yahoo.
I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America or our country. Let me just tell you what I see or what I feel when the national anthem is played and when I look at the flag of the United States. I envision my two grandfathers who fought for this country during World War II, one in the Army and one in the Marine Corps, both risking their lives to protect our country and to try to make our country and this world a better place. So every time I stand with my hand over my heart, looking at that flag and singing the national anthem, that's what I think about. And in many cases, it brings me to tears.
I cannot fathom how anybody, especially a quarterback in the NFL, can still, today, of all days, think kneeling during the national anthem was about disrespecting the flag. If you believe that, you're choosing to be ignorant on the situation. You know how I know Drew Brees fucked up? He got LeBron James coming after him on Twitter. LeBron. Dak Prescott did the right thing today. Aaron Rodgers said the right thing today. Drew Brees. That's the sound of a whiff. I mean, Drew Brees pissed off Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, and Emmanuel Sanders. And he also elicited this reaction from Malcolm Jenkins, which I think illustrates just how much pain players feel when they see guys who they looked up to not acknowledge what they are actually talking about.
Our communities are under siege, and we need help. And what you're telling us is, don't ask for help that way. Ask for a different way. I can't listen to it when you ask that way. We're done asking, Drew. And people who share your sentiments, who express those and push them throughout the world, the airways, are the problem. And it's unfortunate because I considered you a friend. I looked up to you. You're somebody who I had a great deal of respect for. But sometimes you should shut the fuck up.
Now, Drew Brees has also done a lot of good with his money. Just 5 months ago, he was being applauded for giving $5 million to help feed families during COVID-19. He's done a lot within the community of New Orleans. And today, he said the wrong fucking thing. He doubled down on the wrong message. Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders called him out, and Brees already began damage control by saying, "I love and respect my teammates, and I stand right there with them in regards to fighting for racial equality and justice." It doesn't excuse what he said, and hopefully he takes the criticism he's getting and reassesses his stance again. Saying you care more about the symbol of the flag than the symbol of injustice is far from showing real comprehension of what your teammates would tell you about their world experiences. Maybe the most accurate tweet I saw came from Rico, who said, "Me, canceling Drew Brees but still saying the Saints to the Super Bowl." I do believe Drew Brees and Vic Fangio, like many of us, have much to learn about race and privilege in this country. Probably why God keeps kicking the fucking Saints out of the playoffs, and why God gave the Broncos Paxton Lynch. Probably why Bomani Jones used this opportunity to attack the real enemy, Wrangler jeans. Don't trust a pair of jeans that cuts off circulation to your balls. I think Brees' words don't match his actions, which have been overwhelmingly good, outside making money off of a pyramid scheme. Outside of that. Doesn't mean he doesn't need to reconsider what he's saying, but it shouldn't paint him as an evil person. And maybe not everyone needs to be talking right now. Maybe more of us should just shut the fuck up for a while. Not me though, I have a YouTube show to do. Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here, unless of course you're a good guitar enthusiast from Wisconsin.